So AMD stock is soaring in 2025 and in recent weeks and recent months. And so I wanted to go over some of the reasons why so many investors are excited about AMD stock.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
I'm going to start with AMD's success in improving its software that supports the launch of its GPU for data centers optimized for AI. This has been one of the reasons why NVIDIA has dominated the market is because of its CUDA ecosystem, the software supporting the GPUs. Of course, the GPUs are also great, but the ecosystems, the software, the developers that have been using that since 2005, 2006 is one of the main reasons why NVIDIA has boasted such strong market share. Well, AMD is coming out with its own version of software to support the GPUs. It's calling it ROCm, and it's now the seventh generation. ROCm 7 is their most advanced and feature-rich release to date, delivering up to 4.6x higher inference, and 3 times higher training performance compared to the ROCm 6. So that's a big upgrade year over year for this software to support the GPUs. And AMD has also been making great improvement on the hardware side, but the software side improvement has been more significant. ROCm 7 also introduces seamless distributed inference, enhanced code portability across hardware, and new enterprise tools that simplify the deployment and management of Instinct solutions. These are also more open source, allowing companies like OpenAI to work with AMD more seamlessly and allow for more use of developers of this new software ecosystem. Of course, it's going to take a long time if it ever catches up to NVIDIA, but as long as AMD continues to close the gap, AMD will continue making inroads into this market. Looking ahead, their data center AI business is entering its next phase of growth with customer momentum building rapidly ahead of the launch of their next generation MI400 series accelerators and Helios rack scale solutions in 2026. Right now, AMD is selling its 300 level series for these data centers optimized for AI, and it's testing the 400 series. It's sending samples, and the early results are generating strong orders for this 400 series solution. One of the main buyers has been OpenAI, and they signed a large deal with OpenAI and Oracle for these solutions. They were also able last week to complete the sale of the ZT manufacturing business to Sanmina. Remember, AMD acquired ZT Systems, and part of the acquisition came with the manufacturing side of ZT Systems, something that AMD was not interested in, but it just came as part of the package, and they were able to sell the manufacturing part of the business to Sanmina. The reason why they don't like that is because that's more capital intensive, the manufacturing side of the business. AMD is a design only company, and so the manufacturing side of that business didn't jive with the rest of AMD's business plan to design and then have manufacturing outsourced. And so the sale of that allows AMD to return to its core business of designing and then selling and then outsourcing the manufacturing to others. So they entered into a partnership with the company they sold the manufacturing to, Sanmina, and now they're a leading manufacturer for their Helios systems. The collaboration will accelerate large customer deployments of their rack scale AI solutions. On the customer front, they announced several comprehensive multi-year agreements with OpenAI to deploy 6 gigawatts of Instinct GPUs, with the first gigawatt of the MI450 series accelerators scheduled to start coming online in the second half of 2026. The partnership establishes AMD as a core compute provider for OpenAI and underscores the strength of their hardware, software, and full stack solution strategy. Remember, OpenAI is the largest consumer of these technologies that are going into the data centers optimized for AI. AMD ChatGPT has the most monthly active users uh, close to 800 million monthly active users, the last update I saw, compared with Google's Gemini, which is the second place and has 650 million monthly active users. I wouldn't be surprised if the monthly active users of large language models approaches the 4 billion range. I'm comparing that with how many users are on Meta platforms, on Meta's apps. They have roughly 4 billion monthly active users. And so that's the market opportunity I see for large language models to approach that 3 to 4 billion range, especially if companies like Google and ChatGPT continue to offer the free versions for consumers to use and then paid version for upgrades. But as long as the free version is available, I think the free version will attract 3 to 4 billion monthly active users at scale. So the management said that they expect this partnership with OpenAI will significantly accelerate their data center AI business with the potential to generate well over $100 billion in revenue over the next few years. Now, to put that figure into context, in the trailing 12-month period, AMD generated $32 billion in revenue. So to generate $100 billion in revenue over the next few years is multiple times the revenue that AMD generated in the most recently completed year. So it is a big deal. And remember, I made a video about that announcement with OpenAI and AMD and the significant positive consequences for AMD stock investors. And so it's understandable that investors are excited about this partnership and excited about the big deals that AMD is signing. They went on to say that Oracle also announced they will be a lead launch partner for the 450 series, deploying tens of thousands of the 450 GPUs across their cloud infrastructure beginning in 2026 and expanding through 27 and beyond. Their Instinct platforms are gaining traction with sovereign AI and national supercomputing programs. In the UAE, they will deploy a large-scale AI cluster powered by the 350X to support the nation's most advanced AI workloads. So they are gaining market share in this category. And this is something that investors were waiting for. For nearly all of 2024, I remember I would make videos recommending AMD stock as a buy, and it was underperforming and it was trailing Nvidia by a large margin. And investors in the comment section were disappointed and continued to express their frustration. When is AMD going to gain traction in this category? It's taking so long. They're never going to catch up to NVIDIA. They're never even going to approach NVIDIA. They started calling AMD the advanced money destroyer. And all of that sentiment has almost vanished here in 2025 as AMD has made progress. They've developed this 350 series and now the next generation 400 series, and they're gaining significant orders, making large deals and partnerships with some of the buyers in deals worth billions and tens of billions of dollars, approaching hundreds of billions of dollars. And so you can understand why investors are excited about AMD stock. Hey, thanks for watching. I truly respect every viewer who takes the time to seek qualified financial analysis. Unfortunately, there are a lot of unqualified voices online giving unsubstantiated stock advice. My goal is to provide research that's grounded in data and professional training, not just what's popular. For those new here, I hold a master's degree in financial economics. I'm a CFA charter holder, an author, an adjunct professor of finance and economics. I've spent nearly a decade researching stocks professionally, and I'm here to help you make informed investing decisions. If you found value in this analysis, make sure to subscribe and consider joining the channel as a member for early access and in-depth members-only content.